Well, hello again, and a very warm welcome to Sunday Thoughts from Ardtrea and Desertcreat. Golly, it has been a while since we've been on here doing this YouTube thing. It's been about 6 months, and I hope I remember how to do it and the right buttons to click on what's what. Welcome back, anyway, to our Sunday Thoughts, wherever in the world you are watching from. Before we get going, can I ask you to bear with me for two very brief in-house announcements. First of all, summertime is coming and the trees are sweetly blooming, and during the summer months of July and August, we're going to be doing what we've done in past recent years, having alternate worship between our two church centres week to week. So all the services in July and August will begin at 10:30 in the morning. The first Sunday we do this will be the 3rd of July, when we'll be here in Ardtrea. And then on the 10th we'll be in Desertcreat, and then back here on the 17th. And we'll do that through July and August. Secondly, we're delighted to be having an intern coming to join with us, God willing, in September. Tim Eldon is 26 years old. He's a history graduate, originally from Drumcree near Portadown, and he'll be in his 3rd year of training for Church of Ireland ministry. He'll be working with us about 3 days a week for 3 weeks out of every 4, and the rest of the time he'll be writing up his master's dissertation. So we're excited to have Tim come to work with us, and we know that he'll be warmly received here. Now, we're hoping that Tim can live in the cottage at Desertcreat. And our vestry were very generous in adding an extension to the cottage recently. And we even tested it over the weekend to see if it was fit for purpose. The extension was great, but it's temporary, obviously. And the inside of the cottage needs pretty much gutted and repainted and redecorated. And we need some exterior work done as well. So with that in mind, can I encourage you, if you're a member of Desertcreat, to use your little fabric fund envelope over the next week while. This is our next major building project to turn around the cottage to make it fit for purpose again. So if you can do that over the next few months, it'll really make a big difference. Thank you in advance for your help. Okay, let's get cracking. This weekend is a really special weekend for many of you as we mark the Platinum Jubilee of our Queen Elizabeth II. And we're making Jubilee the theme for our Sunday worship, not forgetting that this coming Sunday is also the Feast of Pentecost. Now, Jubilee has pretty much flooded the news and social media. We've had barbecues, we've had street parties, we've had special church services, we've been planting trees. We planted a tree for Jubilee at Desertcreat. We've had children dressing up in crowns in schools. We've had the lighting of beacons, and of course crowds have been descending on London for parades and concerts. Let's begin with a hymn. The choir from Desertcreat came down to record, and a quick Google search informed me that the Queen's 2 favourite hymns are Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven, and The Lord's My Shepherd. We opted for the former, conducted by Laura Swale, accompanied by Russell Donaldson. Here's our choir singing Praise My Soul.
To his feet, our
There's something quite revealing about the fact that the Queen has in her list of favourite hymns that hymn, Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven. She is, after all, the Queen, and yet in her heart and mind, she bows to a higher King, a higher authority, the King of Heaven. She takes her inspiration, lots of her inspiration, from the words and life and teaching of Jesus. Here's a short reading from what we commonly call the Sermon on the Mount, from Matthew chapter 5. Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him and he began to teach them. He said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you," Jesus said, "when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you." We had a lovely barbecue at Desertcreat on Friday night, and we're looking forward to cutting a Jubilee cake here in Ardtrea on Sunday morning. And we're really thankful for people who have helped out, for all our local workers who set up and cooked and organised and looked for funds. We're very grateful to Mid-Ulster District Council for their support, and very grateful too to Lowe's in Stewartstown for the donation of lots of free food for our barbecue. People are kind. So we had our barbecue, we planted our tree, we had our bouncy castle, we had some lovely music from Janet Dowd and her neighbour Jim. We gave away Jubilee shopping bags, and we also asked people if they wanted to donate to Macmillan Cancer Care, and we've raised about £450, so thanks to all who gave to that. At the barbecue, we asked a few people if they had any memories or thoughts on Jubilee. Let's roll the tape.
We're here cooking a few burgers and sausages for the people to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, and wish Her Majesty all the best for now and for the future and for the whole monarchy.
Just thinking back to when I was a student in Belfast, at the tender age of 23, it was the Queen's Silver Jubilee. And as a celebration, or part of the celebration, they were lighting bonfires at prominent points all around the coast of the UK. And my friend Eamon and I made the intrepid journey up to Knocka Monument, just above Belfast, in the lashing, pouring rain to celebrate. And I think we were the only two there, as it happens. But it's amazing to think that 45 years later, Elizabeth II is still on the throne. And what a jolly good job she's done, actually, when you think about it. And here we are at the Platinum Jubilee celebration. And it's lovely to be here with everybody and to be able to say thumbs up to Your Majesty.
Hi, I'm Janet Dowd. I'm here at Desertcreat to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee of Her Majesty the Queen, and I am delighted to be able to sing a few songs and entertain the hordes of people that have come to celebrate this very special occasion. God bless her.
Queen Elizabeth has done an absolutely amazing job. I don't know anyone who would have stayed in one job for 70 years. And I was just thinking this morning when I was watching some of the bits and pieces that it's quite unbelievable what she undertook to do when she was only 25 years of age. And I had the pleasure of seeing her when my father collected his MBE at Buckingham Palace.
Good evening, my name is Bobby Hamilton. I'm a member of the congregation here at Desertcreat. I was talking to my sister about the day of the Queen's coronation, and she said nobody in East Belfast where we lived was wealthy enough to have a TV, but she took me by the hand and we walked down the Newton Ards Road and we looked at the coronation through a window, TV shop window. So it was a tiny, tiny TV, black and white. So that's what I remember from the summer of 1953.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure to be out at Desertcreat, is that how we call it? Because although I'm not of this parish, I'm a neighbouring parish from Loughgall. My name is Jim Smart, and I well remember the coronation in 1953 because I had we had a black and white television. I lived in a place called Mandeville Street in Portadown, and we had a black and white television at Jack Morton's, who had a wireless shop and television shop, and it was all a flickering white sort of image. But we were so excited to see it. It was an absolute pleasure to be there at that occasion. She has been a wonderful Queen, has done a tremendous work for this United Kingdom, and I'm very, very pleased to be here to pay tribute to her.
The Jubilee means so much to me, and I've got this wee brooch presented to me. It means a lot, and we will never see this again, and I think it's a brilliant, brilliant thing. And the Queen is such a lady. She's just a lady, and she's done so much all down through the years, and she's made so many sacrifices for us, and I just hope that she knows how much we appreciate her.
I almost met the Queen once. It was a very long time ago. She was just a few feet from me and she walked right on past. It was summer 1977 and I was a member of the Church Lads Brigade. And I was there with thousands of young people from all over the province on a roasting hot day with a woolen tunic buttoned right up to here, wearing a hat. And we were in the campus of the University of Ulster in Coleraine. Kids were dropping like flies from heat and being carted off for treatment in St John's ambulances. And then all of a sudden, there she was, this familiar figure I'd known all my young life, there right in front of me, Her Majesty the Queen. She walked on by, but Philip came over, shook my hand and said hello, and I'll never forget that. Way back in 1977, most of the Queen's reign was still ahead of her, and life would bring its mixture of sadness and joy, as it does for us all. Many of you will remember the Golden Jubilee in 2002, when the Queen was dealing with all sorts of scandal and divorces within the royal family. By the time 2012 came with the Diamond Jubilee, she had pretty much weathered the storm. The country was flooded with Jubilee memorabilia and gifts, and I still have a London biscuit tin somewhere from Marks and Spencer's from 2012. So here we are, fast forwarded to 2022, marking the Platinum Jubilee. And it's still very much a celebration. Queen Elizabeth is, after all, the first monarch, the first British monarch to be on the throne for 70 years. And for older people like me, the Queen has always been part of our life. Her image is on the pound coin in my pocket. Her image is on stamps. It's on tea towels at home. It hangs in places like Orange Halls all over our province. The children's author Michael Morpurgo, who I'll mention again in just a moment, writes in the preface to his new book, "All my life, she has been there, a constant and reassuring presence in a constantly changing and often unsettling world." That's the Queen, isn't it? Her Majesty, a constant and reassuring presence. When her husband Philip died and we were all pretty much isolating and locked away, the artist Charlie Mackesy posted a very moving sketch of the Queen alone in a pew in a church at the funeral. And while some people not too far away were throwing parties, Her Majesty sat alone, doing what we were asked to do, in some ways just like the rest of us who had lost loved ones during the pandemic. She grieved alone. I looked at the BBC News just a few days ago, and it was obviously mostly Jubilee news, but one article pointed out how different the celebration is this time round. As I've already hinted at, if 1977 marked 25 years into her reign and much of her life was still for the living, this is this year in many ways a transition. The Queen is, after all, 96 and not as mobile as she has been. She wasn't able to make the service at St Paul's in London on Friday morning. This time on the royal balcony, Philip isn't there, Andrew isn't there, Harry's there somewhere in the background, but centre stage and in the limelight as such is her son and heir. This time in these Jubilee celebrations, we're mostly looking back, but we're looking back with thanksgiving. The children's writer, whom I've already mentioned, Michael Morpurgo, has just published a story about the Queen as a girl. It's called There Once Is a Queen. And it begins with these words: once upon a time, there was a little girl. And one day, they say, she planted a tree with her papa, an oak tree. Quite soon, that tree was higher than she was. I'd love to read the book. I had trouble finding it in town. I couldn't find it in town at all. So Amazon, here I come. But when Elizabeth was 21 years old, she made a birthday promise that the rest of her life would be a life of service to us. And she has kept that promise. Life was at times very difficult during the Queen's reign. There were plenty of upsets within her own royal family, and there were many ongoing difficulties here in Northern Ireland. But Queen Elizabeth has always been a constant and reassuring presence. And for that, we're so thankful. Let's take a break for some more music, and then I'm going to wrap up our Sunday thoughts. Our local pipe band, Tullylagan Band, have very strong and long links with the church community at Desertcreat. And we're thankful that a few other very best pipers came down to record for us in church. This is a tune composed by one of their own, Andrew Shilliday, and it's called The Big One. What is it that has contributed to the Queen's ability to be that constant and reassuring presence for us? Well, one thing is she has a very strong sense of humour. She has a quick wit, as did her husband, of course. As well as that, she has a very strong sense of duty. But whenever you look at it more closely, it's more than that. She has the heart of a servant. Many years ago, the Christian hymn writer Graham Kendrick wrote a hymn that we often sing called The Servant King. It's based mostly on St. Paul's thoughts in Philippians and on Mark's record of Jesus' own words, where Jesus is described as the one who came not to be served, but to serve. And our Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, is a servant queen. That is a very fitting title. In her Christmas speech in 2012, she showed us very clearly that Jesus himself has always been her inspiration. And she quoted, she said, "This is the time of year we remember that Jesus Christ came not to be served, but to serve." Some years ago, a book called The Servant Queen sold well over 1 million copies. It told the life story of the young princess who not long after World War II was doing her army service, and shortly after that she found herself queen. She's been steady and calm under pressure, and she's worked really hard. I mean, who of us would sign up for 70 years of a career? And there are so many things that she has done throughout her life that are not at all glamorous. It's not glamorous visiting factories or opening schools or visiting hospitals. The Queen's Christian faith has been something that has helped her to do what she has done so very well. She talks about Jesus, his words, his teaching. She calls him her bedrock and the one whom she imitates. She praises the King of Heaven, even though she is our Queen. In a recent book about the Queen, and there are lots to choose from, Joanna Lumley, who was my teenage pin-up, writes about the Queen's Christian faith. She imagines the Queen on a stage with all the eyes of the audience upon her. They're looking at her as if through a magnifying glass held over a piece of paper. And she uses this illustration as the light focuses on the paper, it catches fire and comes alive. And then Joanna writes, the Queen, accustomed as she is to this public gaze, rewards us by giving back a depth of commitment which I think is unmatched in the world. And a separate light illumines her, that of her faith. This Sunday, on the Feast of Pentecost, whenever we read stories of those first Christians and God pouring out his Spirit on them and little fires appearing over their heads, we also give thanks for the long and faithful reign of Queen Elizabeth. Well done, that good and faithful servant. Thank you all for listening today. I hope you've had a great Jubilee holiday. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you down at Ardtrea or Desertcreat in the not too distant future. Bye-bye for now.